Today we are going to use the area model and number line model to compare fractions. You will learn how to compare fractions with like or same denominators, as well as compare fractions with unlike or different denominators. First, we will look at comparing fractions with like denominators using an area model. Thinking about what you've learned over the last couple of weeks, you can see that these two squares are both cut into fourths. Because the first square has 3 sections shaded in, this represents 3/4. The bottom square has 2 sections shaded in, representing 2/4. Visually, you can see that there is more shaded in the top square than in the bottom square. This means that 3/4 is greater than 2/4. You could also flip that around to say that 2/4 is less than 3/4. Now let's look at the circles. Both of these circles are cut into eighths. The top circle represents the fraction 6/8, and the bottom circle represents the fraction 3/8. Again, visually, you can see that there is more shaded in the top circle, meaning 6/8 is greater than 3/8. You can also state that 3/8 is less than 6/8. As you may have noticed, when you are comparing fractions with the same denominator, the numerator will decide which fractional part is greater. In both of these cases, the denominator is the same, so the fraction with the larger numerator is the greater fraction. This is not true when we are dealing with fractions with unlike denominators, so keep this in mind that this rule only applies when comparing fractions with like denominators. Now let's look at comparing fractions with unlike or different denominators. This top square is sectioned into 6 pieces with 4 colored in, representing the fraction 4/6. The bottom is cut into 4 sections with 1 shaded in, representing the fraction 1/4. Notice that the squares are the same size, they are just cut into more or less pieces. Visually, you can see that this square has more shaded in, meaning that 4/6 is greater than 1/4. Again, you can also turn that inequality around to say 1/4 is less than 4/6. Now let's look at the circles. Again, these circles are both the same size, they are just cut into different pieces. The top circle is cut into 8 pieces with 5 shaded in, representing 5/8. The bottom circle is cut into 4 pieces with 3 shaded in, representing 3/4. As you can see, this circle has more sections shaded in, not necessarily more sections, but more space shaded in, meaning 3/4 is greater than 5/8. Or you can say 5/8 is less than 3/4. When you are creating your own models, it is very important to create a shape that is the exact same size before cutting them into different pieces.